This is little girl, Miss Veda. Hi guys, my name's Veda. My daddy love me. I'm a little bit more friendly than Big Sister. So Big Sister obviously has the other half of my heart, but this little girl's a little bit more affectionate. I love you. Let me just look how beautiful she is. And I love her. And I love Sister. Do you love Sister? She loves Sister too. They fight and play all day. Bye guys, gotta go to work. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is David and this is David's Closet. Here we like to talk about handbags, accessories, small leather goods, all of those fun things from the male point of view and on a budget. So if that's something that you find interesting, please hit that subscribe button below. If you already do subscribe and support my channel, thank you so very much. For those of you who are new, if you haven't been around for a bit, or even if you haven't been around for a bit is what I mean, go ahead and look back. There's a lot of videos to catch up on, and you can probably find a video of every handbag you see behind me throughout my rotation, because I do unbox and review all of them, I think. So today's video, sorry, I just yawned. My allergies are nuts right now. Today's video, as you saw by the thumbnail, is going to be is it better than the Neverfull? Now, I'm doing this video in part because I will be buying a new bag, hopefully here in the next month or so, and I'm debating on a Neverfull, and then there's of course a plethora of other bags, the Neverfull being the most economical, either if I buy it new or if I can snag one pre-loved. Of course, those traditionally you can find them pre-loved for a decent discount, especially if I can snag one on Fashion File, because I will also save the sales tax there. So, not really sure what I'm going to do. I don't know. So I thought this video would be good because I picked two bags that in my mind when I bought them kind of fill the void of an Neverfull and have the same design, style, and elements, but maybe a little bit more elevated at the time when I bought them. So we will see if I still feel that way, and I'll kind of go over my opinions. I can't stop yawning. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, so just excuse all of this. So first let's go over the Neverfull, and everyone knows what it looks like, but I will throw a picture up around me somewhere so you can just see one. Particularly right now I'm talking about the MM size because the PM size is great. I love it, but I think the MM size is probably the most common and the most desired because it's a little bit bigger than a small handbag, but it's also not quite as big as a, travel type bag. So it can be used for every day, but also can be used for travel if you need. In my opinion, pros of this bag, the material, the canvas bags are, pretty durable. They're malleable. They have the ability to withstand weather, all of those things. Of course, depending on what print you get in the canvas, and I'll get into the leather ones here in a second. If you get the damier and bean, of course you get brown leather straps and trim. And of course the brown straps are able to withstand more weather and more elements than the raw vachetta straps that come on the Azure and the monogram. So, also something to think about. Personally, if I bought one, I would probably want the monogram because I do think that the vachetta straps are softer and more malleable and just a little bit more friendly, whereas I do feel like the dark brown treated on the bean, it can be a little bit more rigid, and I would worry more about cracking and also just overall comfort. Now, when you talk about the leather versions, of course, they are going to be a treated, leather, so they're going to do a little bit better than obviously a vachetta bag. And I do have one Empreinte Speedy, so that's the leather I'm kind of thinking about right now. I know they also occasionally will have it in Epi, and I think the supply is there too. A little bit more weather friendly. Still not something I would want to submerge in water or anything, but if it's raining and it gets a little bit wet, it's going to wipe off and be fine. And then the interior on those, I think, are the micro suede, which I think is a very lovely material. Now, overall, both leather and the canvas, they are, in my opinion, a semi-structured bag. So they do kind of hold their shape, but of course, with the addition of a bag insert, you get a little bit more versatility and a little bit more organization, as well as it helps it also maintain that shape, which in a lot of my handbags, the reason I use organizers is to keep the shape of the bag, not necessarily to help me organize. So that would definitely fit in with the way I like to use my bags and the way I like to store my bags. Now, capacity, those bags really can hold everything you need and some. I think that that bag is great. Again, like I said earlier, it works as an everyday bag. Your wallet, your keys, hand sanitizer, you know, any little cosmetic items you need to carry, and then sunglasses, things of that nature. You can also add a work element to it. You can put an agenda in there. You can put a small laptop, things of that nature, an iPad, things like that can fit in there. And then also if I was traveling, I could put a few additional items in there and use it as my handbag when I get to the location, and then also on the plane it could be my personal item to put under the seat in front of me. The downfall is there's no zipper closure, so when you're using it for travel needs, you kind of have to keep an eye on it, because what you don't want is it on its side under the seat and everything just spilling all over the airplane. That would be very unfortunate, so that would be one hesitation for me. I know they sell bag organizers that have zipper compartments, so that might be something you could look at if you really wanted the Neverfull. I know there's a ton of new iterations of it. The inside out, there's the addition of a shoulder strap, things of that nature. Right now for this video, I'm referring to the original OG Neverfull. So my two bags that I have that I think are comparable, they also do not have the ability to convert to a shoulder bag. So that is kind of a moot point for this video and for me. But that is something to consider if you want that versatility with a Neverfull. It is possible now to get those. And then of course the Neverfull, if you buy it new, and sometimes you can get it pre-loved with it as well, it does come with a little detachable pochette. It's very thin. It's more like a portfolio sleeve pochette, so you wouldn't want to shove it too terribly full because you will misshape it and potentially mess up the zipper or stitching. But it does come with something where you can slip a few items and kind of keep it organized inside of the bag, which I do like. And you can also yank that out, carry it in other bags, or carry it as a clutch by itself. So now to go over my versions that I have, and I have two that I've selected to go over with you. One is the Christian Louboutin, and this is the East-West Kabata. And I think when I bought mine, these were considered the size small. Not really sure what they are now. But of course, you've all seen my collection. I have two of these. I have this camel colored one, and then I have a black one. And I'm showing this one today because it just photographs a little bit better than the black one. So what I'm gonna do is measure here just across the top. So it's about 15 inches across, and it does taper a little bit, so it's probably a little smaller at the bottom, but for argument's sake, I'm just gonna measure the top. 15. It's about 5 inches deep, and it's about 10-ish inches tall. And then the strap drop is about 9 inches. And that's rough measurements because I just can't right now. But this to me is a good alternative because, first off, brand new. I know that these have had some price changes, but I do think they're still under $2,000. They are all leather inside and out. They have a structured rubbered base, so you have a little bit of versatility on the bottom, you know, to avoid some wear. And then you also have this kind of rubberish trim that helps protect the corners of the bag. Now, it's not foolproof. Mine does have a very tiny little scuff on one corner that it came with, but can't complain. But like I said, for under $2,000, all leather, very different looking with the studs. I think it's very edgy, but the fact that it's an all leather bag is kind of a huge win for me. And I actually lied, I have 3 bags I'm going to show you today. I just remembered one. So, of course, I bought mine pre-loved, and if I remember correctly, I think I paid about $950 for this one, and I paid about $1,200 for the black one. So, inside, completely leather lined, and it does have a little clasp up here to close the bag if you wanted to, just like the Neverfull. But the fact that this is leather inside and out, and it's also not a super heavy bag, I think is huge. And like I said, I think this is very close to the MM size. Maybe a little smaller, not sure exactly. It does have a D-ring in there. You can throw your keys on or whatever you need, but just like the Neverfull, It also comes with a detachable pouch, very similar in design, skinny, kind of a slip pocket kind of thing. Again, something you really wouldn't want to fill too full, because if you fill it too full, you're going to misshape it. Now, inside of this is fabric lined, not leather, but the outside, of course, is leather. And then I do think it's cool, it has a little shoe zipper pull, and then it does have kind of a little bit of the stud detail here on this connection. And then, of course, this is a little clasp that can come off, that it can clip to itself over here and be a wristlet. You can carry it as a little top handle bag, or you can clip it to another bag, like from the D-ring inside. So it also comes with that. So for under $2,000, you get a lot of the same elements, but in my opinion, you get a better material, because this is leather and this is coated leather. So this is not a leather that's raw, that you have to worry about water spots and things of that nature. Now, I wouldn't recommend getting it super wet and just leaving it wet. I mean, I always, when I come in after carrying this bag, just give it a wipe down after I've been out in the rain, but this is a treated material, so I do not think you're going to have any issues with it. But for under $2,000, and if you can snag one pre-loved, normally they're right around $1,000 in really good shape. And I feel like very rarely do I see them not include the pochette and the dust bag. So definitely a bag, in my opinion, that's worth looking at if you want a Neverfull, but don't really want to pay for one, or you want a leather Neverfull, which is what this would compare mostly to. And, you know, you're talking at least $1,000, $1,500 less. So definitely something to consider. Next, should come as no surprise to anyone, is my Goyard Artois PM. A very lightweight bag. Of course, this is the Goyard coated canvas with their leather trim. I chose this gray color when I purchased this bag. And now I don't remember what year I bought the bag, but this was a new color that season. So I definitely went ahead and picked that up. And of course, it has a zipper closure, but very similar, of course, to the Neverfull. Like I said, I think it's a little smaller, kind of like the the Christian Louboutin bag. I think it's a little smaller than the Neverfull MM, but it's definitely bigger than the PM size. So I think it's a good kind of middle ground. Again, I will measure, and this one tapers a little more, so I'm going to measure from the middle. About 16 inches wide, about 9.5 inches tall, a shoulder strap drop of about 8 inches, and depth of the bag is about 6 inches. So take that down and compare it to the Neverfull, and you can kind of see how it compares. But to me, this bag wins in a few aspects. One, it's a coated leather material, so I don't have to worry about weather, and it's a zip top closure, which I absolutely love. Inside here, it's just the other side of the canvas. Now the Artois versus the St. Louis, what my SA told me when I bought this, because I was torn between the two, the Artois is actually double lined canvas is what he told me. So I don't know exactly what that means, or if that's necessarily accurate, but that's why it has a lot more structure than the St. Louis. And in my opinion, this has a little bit more structure than the Neverfull. Now, if you use this bag a ton, it would loosen up and soften up. So maybe it would be a little bit more comparable. But on the back here, there is a little pocket, kind of like the Neverfull. That's one thing the Louboutin Tote doesn't have, is any internals. It has a little, button there you can pull off, and there's a canvas lined pouch. So the inside of the pouch is this. And then the base, there's definitely a little bit of structure there. I do have a bag organizer for this bag. Definitely like to try to keep this as in good shape as possible. Another thing I like about this bag is it's one of my few bags that I have that has that super, I don't say super, but that more exclusive vibe to it, because these are not bags that you can order online. These are not bags you can go buy at department stores. These are bags that can only be purchased new. Of course, you can buy them pre-loved, but new from Goyard. And there's a limited amount of boutiques in the country, in the world really, but especially here in the United States, there's not a ton of boutiques. So to me, this is one of my bags that is just a little bit more exclusive. It's my Hermes, so to speak. There are a few bags from Hermes I want, but nothing really that, for the price that's tickling my fancy right now. But this bag was, I believe with tax, like $2,300 or $2,400. I think the price, I think it was like, I think it was $2,030 or $2,050 new. So it's the same price as the Neverfull, but you get that exclusivity factor that I really like, and a brand that's just not as overly saturated, at least where I live, because you can't get it anywhere near here. The closest boutique is in Chicago. There is one. So I like that about it. And the zip top, to me, is just a huge, huge, huge win. That's what makes this a little bit better than the Neverfull for me. The last one is my Oidia medium top, not top handle, medium tote. This Web Supreme GG tote, whatever it's called. So this one, I'm just going to do some measurements again, has a 9-ish inch strap drop. It's about 16.5 inches wide. It's about 11.5, 12 inches tall, and it's a little over 6 inches wide. So this is definitely the biggest of all of my tote bags, probably closer to the Neverfull size, maybe a little bigger than the Neverfull, but, and I'm talking about the NM, of course. But I love this bag. Of course, it doesn't come with any detachable straps or anything, but it does come with a little magnetic snap, and then inside it's just a really pretty linen material with one zipper pocket here, and then on the other side, I have it stuffed really well for storage. It has a leather slip pocket, and then it's just an open tote. Now, when I first got this bag, I was carrying an organizer in it. I had a Speedy 30 organizer that I had been using, and I recently stopped doing that because I actually love the slouch of this bag without an organizer. Now, for storage, I have some cardboard support in here. I have all the stuffing. And of course I have this little guy to help keep the strap up when I'm storing it that way. Now this bag, in my opinion, I would say is very equivalent as far as pros and cons. The one pro that made me choose this bag over a Neverfull at the time is the D-rings and how the straps connect to the bag. Since it's on a little jump ring or an O-ring or D-ring, whatever you call it. It has the ability to fold down for storage, or, you know, when you're out and about, you know, it's sitting on a table, those things, versus the Neverfull, and my other bags are the same way. These are fixed handles, and I don't want to bend or fold them because they will crack, they will crease, you know, over time that will cause wear. So I do like how this is on that ring, so I don't have to worry about a bunch of wear at this stress point because it's on a metal ring and it can do whatever I need it to do as long as I need it to do it. But this one is also great. So with that being said, am I going to buy a Neverfull? I don't think so. I think it's a beautiful bag. I think it's very versatile. If you want the Louis Vuitton brand and you want to not spend an absolute fortune, and you want something that has a lot of the elements of these bags, but maybe not these bags, then I 100% think that the Neverfull is a fantastic find. I do encourage to search the pre-loved market because a lot of times you can find these bags for under or right at $1,000, maybe $1,500, which is significantly cheaper. That's anywhere from, I'm just gonna ballpark here, it's about $1,000 off, let's say. You can save a significant amount of money over the $2,000 price tag plus tax. So, always worth it. For me, I just don't foresee one being added to my collection. Now, if I were to find one pre-loved for an absolute steal that I just couldn't refuse, I would absolutely buy it. But so far, haven't really found anything that really is jumping out to me. And there's a few other bags where I can add an additional $1,000, $1,200 to that $2,000 price point if I bought new. And I could have those other bags that I like more, and they're going to be a little bit more versatile for my collection. These bags, though I love them all, are my least carried bags because the style of bag just isn't for me anymore. My style has evolved. My bag desires have evolved. I'm into more medium small bags now. So like the Speedy 25s. I love my Coach Pillow Madisons. This Tiffany bag is my favorite. These small tote bags are great. But never say never, but let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know your thoughts on the Neverfull versus some of these others. you know, like I said, when I chose each of these bags, it was between these or a Neverfull at the time. So like the Gucci, the handle connections was a big selling point to me, plus the price at the time, because I think I paid like $1,300 new for this bag, whereas the Neverfull at the time was $2,000. So it was a no-brainer there. This one, the exclusivity factor and the zipper, love that. And then this was the material and the price, because I got them pre-loved for a bargain. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.